Look at your life for a moment, not with judgment, just honesty. And I mean the job, the home, the family, the relationship, the children, the education, the achievement. The things you work hard for, the things other people may admire. And now ask yourself the question most women feel guilty even asking. Does this life feels like mine? Not, is it good? Not, should I be grateful? Not, do other people think it looks beautiful? But, does it feel like mine from the inside? Because there is a very specific kind of emptiness that happens when you have checked all the boxes, built the structure, done what you're supposed to do, and still feel like you are admiring your own life from the outside, like it belongs someone else. Like you followed the script so well that you forgot to ask whether the script was ever yours. And today we're talking about that gap, the gap between the life that looks beautiful and the life that feels true. And if this speaks to you, comment mine below and I'll send you the fulfillment compass practice from today's live. And type live if you're watching this live or replay if you're watching this later. And put yes in the comments if you have ever looked at something you worked hard to build and quietly thought, why does this not feel the way I thought it would? Okay, so before we go deeper, I want to remove something from the room. I think that's one of the most important things, and that's guilt. Because the moment a woman says something is missing, her mind often attacks her. Like, you should be grateful, or other people would love to have this life, or you have no right to feel this way, or you're just being dramatic. You're never satisfied, or you work hard for this. Why are you questioning it now? But this conversation is not about being ungrateful. It's not about dismissing what you have. It's not about destroying the life you built, but it's about being honest enough to notice when the outside and the inside no longer match. Gratitude and truth can exist at the same time. You can be grateful for your children and still miss yourself. You can be grateful for your home and still feel disconnected inside it. You can be grateful for your job and still know it's not aligned anymore. You can be grateful for what you built and still ask, is this the life I want to keep? And is this a point where I want to living from? And those questions do not make you selfish. They make you awake. And there is a name for this kind of experience, and that's arrival fallacy. And it is the belief that once you arrive at a certain point, once you reach the goal, once you get the thing, once you become the version of yourself you imagined, then happiness will finally settle in. Like, okay, I'm done, right? But when it gets the degree, or when you get the degree that you will feel proud, or when you get the job, then you will feel safe, or when you have the family, then you will feel complete, or when you buy the home, then you will feel settled, and or when you become successful, that you will feel that you're enough, or when you finally have the life you imagine, then you will feel fulfilled. And then you arrive. And that's the moment where you are at the peak, you are, at a height, a breath, a celebration, maybe even relief comes. But then quietly something inside asks, is that it? And because that question feels so uncomfortable, we usually do one of those things. We either shame ourselves for asking it, or we immediately create another goal, another mountain, another project, another empowerment. Another thing that might finally make the feeling arriving of arrival being there and stay there. But fulfillment does not work like that, because fulfillment is not a finish line. Fulfillment is an internal state of alignment. It's the feeling that your choices, your values, your energy, your body, your truth, and your life are in relationship with each other. And you can have external success without internal alignment. That's not a problem. That is why the life can look beautiful and still not feel like yours. And I actually know this feeling myself. You see, by the age of 33, I have done so many things I was told to do, like marriage, 3 kids, a master's degree, a home, a car, a significant professional role. And from the outside, it looked like I had built the life, the responsible life, the successful life, the life that makes sense, the life many people would look at and say, you should be proud. And I was proud of so many things. But I also remember standing inside that life and feeling this strange question rising. Is this it? Is this what fulfilled is supposed to feel like? Do I feel like I'm living this life or managing it? Does this life feel like mine? And those were not easy questions. When everything looks good on paper, it can feel almost wrong to admit that something inside feels absent. But the feeling was there, not because my life was bad, not because the people in it were wrong, not because the achievements had no value, but because somewhere along the way, external success had started replacing inner connection. I was doing life, but was I inside my life? Was I living it? That's the question. And maybe that is the question for you too. So put insight in the comments if you know the difference between having a life and feeling being inside of your life. You see, most of us did not write the original script for our lives. We inherited it. You know, go to school, be good, find a partner, build a family, get the home, climb the ladder, look capable, keep going, make it work, be grateful. And the script is not evil or bad. Some parts of it may be really beautiful. Education matter, family matters, work can matter. But and building something can matter. I mean, it's great, right? But the question is, did you choose it consciously? Or did you follow it because it was the only map you were given? Did you build this life from your values or from expectations? Did you say yes because it was true or because it was time? Did you keep going because it was alive or because stopping would have forced you to feel the truth? And this is where many high achieving women wake up, not in a crisis visible to everyone else, but in quiet internal moments. They look around and they realize that I have been excellent at following a script, but I do not know if the script belongs to me. And that's a scary moment, or at least it can be. But it can also be the beginning of coming home. So if your life does not fully feel like yours, that does not automatically mean you need to burn everything down. It's not about dramatic distractions. It's not about abandoning your responsibilities. It's not about deciding everything was wrong. Sometimes the life is not wrong. Sometimes your relationship with it needs to change. And the structure is beautiful, but you are missing from the center of it. And the life was built before you really know yourself or knew yourself. And now you get to bring yourself into it. And that's different. You do not need to destroy the house to make it yours. Maybe you need to open the windows, move furniture, or choose colors. So stop living in rooms designed by old expectations and ask what actually feels alive. Bring your own voice back into the walls. The life you build may not be the enemy, but the question is, can you stop living it as a performance and start inhabiting it as yourself? And comment home if you're ready to stop performing your life and start to inhabiting it. And this reminds me of a beautiful story I once heard, and it goes like this: a granddaughter asks her grandmother, "What kind of days exist in life?" And the grandmother says, "Honestly, there are only three types of days: good days, great days, and extraordinary days." And the granddaughter asks, "Who decides what kind of day a particular day is?" And the grandmother smiles and says, "My dear, that depends on you and you only, no one else." And I love this because it brings us back to ownership, not control, ownership. And there's a difference. Control says everything must look the way I planned, and ownership says, how do I meet this life from my truth? And control says, I need the outside to prove I am okay. But ownership says, I get to decide what I value. And control says, I must keep achieving so I feel valid. But the ownership says, I can choose meaning now. You see, sometimes we wait for life to feel like ours only after everything changes. But ownership begins with the way you relate to what is already here, the way you choose, the way you notice, the way you stop measuring your life only by external success and begin asking, what feels meaningful? What feels alive? What feels forced? What feels like me? And that is where the shift begins. So let's make this simple. Success often asks, what did I achieve? But meaning asks, what felt true? Success asks, how does it look? Meaning asks, how does it feel in my body? Success says, will they approve? But meaning asks, do I respect the choice? Success asks, what is the next goal? Meaning asks, what is worth my energy? Success asks, how do I keep up? Meaning asks, what do I want to be faithful to? And when you live only from success, you can collect achievements and still feel hollow. When you begin living from meaning, even smaller things can feel deeply alive. A conversation, a walk, a creative idea, a quiet morning, a boundary, a piece of work that feels honest, a moment with your child where you are present, a decision that nobody claps for, but you know it is true. You don't need bigger goals, you need deeper roots. So today's practice is very simple and it's called the fulfillment compass. This is not a gratitude list and this is not a productivity review. It is a way to begin measuring whether your life feels like yours. At the end of the day, ask the following three questions. What did I do today that made me feel alive? It it's not something impressive, but alive. Maybe it was just a walk, a conversation, a writing, maybe moving your body or singing in the car, working on something meaningful, or laughing with your child, saying something honest, creating, learning, being outside. Just name it. And the second question is what felt forced today? And it's not, I don't want you to judge this or judge yourself to do it. Just to become aware of it. So, what felt heavy? What felt like performance? What felt like obligation without truth? What felt like you were acting from the old script? And maybe some things need to be done, okay? That's real life. But noticing matters because what you do notice, what you do not notice, you cannot change. And what you do, you can. And the third question is, what would I still choose if no one ever praised me for it? And you see, so much of the performance rap is built around applause, approval, recognition, being seen as good, being seen as successful or impressive. But this question brings you back to essence. What would I still choose if nobody clapped? What would I still care about? What would I still build? What would I still practice? What would I still love? And this is your compass. Alive or forced, still true with applause. So ask those three questions for 7 days, and you will start seeing the difference between the life that looks good and the life that feels like yours. Okay, let's do now a quick practice of this. So think about yesterday. What was one moment where you felt alive? Maybe tiny, maybe ordinary, maybe nobody noticed, but now think what felt forced. So we're just getting the information. Do not be ashamed of it or anything like that. Just being aware, just noticing. And then ask, what is one thing I would still choose even if nobody praised me for it? You see, your soul often speaks through what feels quietly alive, not through what looks impressive. And if you do not listen, you can keep building a life that slowly moves further away from you. And if you are listening to this and realizing that your life looks good but does not feel fully like yours, that is not something to ignore. That quiet whisper matters. It's not selfish, it's not ungrateful, it's not dramatic. It is your inner wisdom trying to bring you back. And inside of coming home to yourself coaching, this is exactly the kind of work we do. We look at the beautiful life you built and ask, where are you inside it? What was chosen from truth and what was chosen from expectation? What still feels alive and what feels forced? And where are you performing success instead of living meaning? Where are you outsourcing fulfillment to achievement, roles, or approval? And we build from the inside out, not by burning your life down, but by helping you return to yourself inside your life. So your external success can finally become connected to inner alignment. You see, maybe the life you built is not wrong. It was built before you fully knew yourself. And now you are being invited to inhabit it differently, to bring your voice into it, to bring your truth, your desire, your meaning, your presence, your aliveness. And you do not need to chase another finish line to feel fulfilled. You need to start listening to what already feels like home. And if you want today's fulfillment compass practice, comment mine below or DM me mine and I'll send it to you. And if you're realizing that your beautiful life does not feel fully like yours, this is exactly the work we're doing inside of coming home to yourself. Message me mine and we can begin the conversation. The life you built may still be yours, but only when you stop admiring it from the outside and begin living it from the inside. Thank you for being here today and come home to yourself.